Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is July 5th, and today's episode is going to cover Ramana's order getting filled. There's a positive spin on some really horrible news. We're going to be talking about a reminder to get your voting power set. We're going to be talking about the rETH stuff, the Ronin bridge, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, we're going to start here with Ramana's news about one of his orders getting filled, and he actually put this order in a while ago, and actually I think this is the second one. He had one at 0.0053 that he thought wasn't going to get filled again, and then another one at 0.00504, and they both got filled. Now, good job for Ramana, however, maybe not such a good job for the rest of us. And you might be thinking, why is that? Well, that is because we have hit, RPL has hit a new post-Atlas low in terms of the USD price and in terms of the ratio. So here the ratio is 0.00497. That's the lowest I've seen it on the RPL bot. And the USD price is $14.79, which of course is lower than the previous post-Atlas dollar low, which was $16.50, something around that area. I think $15.80. So you might be thinking, what's going on? Well, the prices have taken a huge hit, and that's across the whole of crypto, and liquid staking tokens especially have gotten like really battered in the last couple of days, but in the last 24 hours especially, and that is just because of general market sentiment. But you know, there's all this like Bitcoin news that's hanging out that we're going to talk about later on in the episode, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, but the price action, because it's just so horrible and depressing. But yeah, this is a new cycle low. So if you're holding on there, please, you know, I hope you're looking after yourselves, and please be well. Okay. So here, you know, a few times on Rocket Fuel, we've talked about how you should be initializing and setting up your voting power for on-chain governance. Well, Langas here came with a reminder saying, following on from my protocol DAO on-chain voting announcement, node operators have been busy initializing their voting power as per our guide, and there's a link to the Medium article. However, all news is not good here. He says, I wanted to give a status update to track progress towards enabling the protocol DAO on-chain voting system. Currently, there are only 193 nodes out of 3,713 that have initialized their vote power. And then the vote power is total vote power which has been initialized is 9,706, which is just 10% has been migrated. So I think that this number is actually slightly misleading from Langas, and I'll explain that in a moment. But Langas goes on to say this is fantastic progress, but we have a way to go before we can enable the on-chain voting system. If you haven't initialized your voting power, check out our guide, and it's pretty easy, but maybe wait for gas to go back to 2 Gwei. He says many thanks. So he says this number of 193 node operators have initialized their vote power. Now, Rocket Pool has this great reputation for having 3,700 node operators. However, you know, myself, a bunch of other people have kind of said that this number is a little bit misleading, as this number only counts people who have set up a node. It doesn't necessarily count people who are validating right now. It counts people who are not validating anymore. It counts people who are validating, and it also counts people who just have a node set up, you know, to have their own RPC and, like, you know, to check the status of the network and stuff at home, to verify the network themselves. So the actual number of stake from home node operators that we have, I think the latest count is around 1,850 or thereabouts, and then there's about 300, I think, all nodes operators within that as well. So you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is that around 10% of node operators have initialized their voting power, which kind of makes sense, as about 10% of RPL has had their power initialized. So, you know, it's only been a few days since the article came out. It came out on Monday, so it's been a little bit slow progress. I was hoping for that number to be a little bit higher. However, I have to admit, I am one of the people who have not initialized their vote power yet, so I am partly to blame for this. So sorry, Langas, and sorry everyone else. I will get my vote power initialized this weekend. Okay, and then the memes came out about this, and here you can see Pietro was the first. He says, I want you to initialize your node's voting power. Here, Vitalik Buterin, of course, kept it classy. Or if you're going to make me initialize my node's voting power. If you've seen that meme, you know it if you're listening along. And then Bernie Sanders here, Ken, definitely keeping it classy, says, I am once again asking you to initialize your node's voting power. So, yeah, this is once the memes are out, then you know that you really got to step it up. So thanks, Langus, for that reminder. I'm going to get mine done today, and I think a whole bunch of other people will hopefully get theirs done over the weekend as well, and then we can start voting on chain, which will be really exciting. Okay, next we have this screenshot that Jasper shared, and this is from checking the liquid staking derivative price, the LST price, and on the screenshot it shows that rETH has a big premium, and that is a premium of 0.582 premium, and that of course looks really good. The problem is, first of all, that you can't arb that premium using what's the name, the Rocket Arb, because the deposit pool has 21,800 ETH in there. So that's the first problem. The second problem is that well, that's the main problem, is that you can't arb it. So you might be thinking, where did this premium come from? Like, why? Let's see what it is right now. So let me just do that. I really should have done this before, so I'm sorry about that. Actually, it looks like, oh yeah, here we go. This person, Rocket, used it just for my sake. Yeah, it's 0.557 right now, so it's held up really well. But I guess that's for people who want to sell it on the secondary market. They can sell their rETH now, but then they can make a little bit of profit based on that. You know, that's like a good couple of months worth of staking rewards, and wait for the premium to go down. Now you might be wondering, why is there a premium here? Well, Mig here has an answer, and he says maybe the answer is Symbiotic. And what's happened here with Symbiotic is they are a new liquid restaking program, kind of as a rival for Eigenlayer. It's come out of the same house as Lido. I think some of the co-founders are the same people, or some of the people involved with it are the same parties. And it seems here like they have had a whole lot of rETH deposited into their vault. So before it was 2.5 thousand, and then a little while later it was nearly 10,000. So 7,000 rETH went into their vault. So it looks like people bought rETH on the secondary market to deposit it into the Symbiotic vault. So yeah, it looks like that's the way things are going. I don't know how much longer the Symbiotic vault is going to be open for. I haven't interacted with it or done any kind of airdrop hunting with Symbiotic, but I will definitely, I guess we'll all be able to see if there's any more premium that comes up because of that. But yeah, that looks like a nice premium. It's just a shame we can't use Rocket Abs to get some more validators online. Okay, next we had an update from Moist Owl, and Owl of Moistness on Twitter, and Owl here, the cool owl. If you're listening, LFO, sorry, yeah, looking for owls, that's for you. Owl of Moistness is definitely the cool owl. Anyway, he says that here there's an update on Ronin, like proposal, like I guess the way that they improve it, and that's a Ronin bridge where Axie Infinity is based. Said they wanted to add staking to their Ronin network, so the ETH that is on the Ronin network, they would swap it into LSTs. So there was earning some rewards while it was waiting there. So here Alan Moistness was working on this cross-chain staking, and he says proposed it in Q4 of 2023. This REP has been laid dormant for the first part of 2024 due to lack of bandwidth, but since a couple of months everything went from 0 to 100. So here's a few points I would like to share with you. And this post has gotten a huge amount of likes, so it's 3,100 likes, 633 retweets, a whole lot of like engagement. So people really want to see this. So here Owl says, here's the infographic showing the current life cycle of the REP. We're well into the life cycle and advancing at a good pace. As usual, security and simplicity are elevated to ensure the best design. Bridge and fund safety are always our top priority. So as you can see here, there's 7 checkboxes. 1, 2, and 3 are done. 4 is being worked on right now, and that's the third-party approval box. And after that, you have testnet implementation, and then auditing, and then mainnet. So they've been making really good progress with this. And then he says the proof of concept has been approved by Sky Mavis, head researcher, and we've been having bi-weekly calls to keep this REP moving. We've begun third-party selection with prime candidates such as Stakewise, Rocket Pool, and node operators. So it looks like they're putting some very interesting names forward for the services they want to use for their product, which is definitely exciting. And it says the road ahead is long. Test implementation must happen to make sure things work as intended, and lots of testing. Overall, the path is clear, and I'm excited to push this quickly and safely as possible. So they said, check this, and here the person asked for a timeline. It says if things go smoothly, months, more than a year if issues arise. So this actually times quite nicely with NodeSet's launch. If they launch in the next 4 to 6 months, like Nick said on their recent community call, what would happen is, that would drastically improve, increase the ability of our Rocket Pool to mint rETH, and this might be a good source of some of the rETH minting demand. These are the kind of things that we really want to see, going forward into like Rocket Pool 2.0, pretty much with like Saturn. We're going to have so much demand ability for so much capacity for rETH that we'll have people like these, taking up some of that, and hopefully letting Rocket Pool grow really quickly. But this was a great update from Owl of Moistness. He's got some really cool ideas, so I'm really excited to see how they go. Okay, I didn't have an episode yesterday because it was July 4th in the US, so I was on holiday, and however, on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, we had a new rewards period snapshot, and this was this happened into July 4th, so happy Independence Day, but also happy payday. I think payday is more important for most people, which is nice. And then, we saw the inflation here. So 76,666.8 RPL was minted. The total supply of RPL now is 20,522,127 RPL. And of course, the inflation is set at 5%. So that happened, I think, from what I know, the rewards period actually was really straightforward, and it went through without any hitches, which is of course always awesome to see, and people got paid, which is of course always awesome to see as well. Okay, next we're going to be talking about Ramana for a few minutes, and for those of you who know, Ramana made a piece of software called Rocket Lend, and he thought this would help bridge the gap between where we are now and Saturn 1, which is when Rocket Pool would allow ETH-only validators, but even Rocket Lend, he thinks, would go past that as well. So Rocket Lend was going to be like a contract where people could deposit their RPL, and node operators could borrow the RPL from Rocket Lend in order to stake it, and then they could withdraw it back to Rocket Lend and pay a fee, basically. And the GMC said that they want to defer this decision on this. They want to see Ramana give more accurate cost estimates for auditing, and also hire a project manager who could work on that. Well, Ramana kind of wanted to re-pitch Rocket Lend to the Rocket Pool community to try to get some excitement about it. So here he said, Rocket Lend bridging ETH-only mini pool, Rocket Pool validators to home staker. Currently, marriages are called whale marriages for a reason. There are huge transaction costs associated with finding a partner, agreeing on fees and splitter contracts, and agreeing on when to exit for setting up Rocket Pool validators and where RPL and ETH come from in different parties. So it only ends up making sense to do this once you have whale level RPL and ETH coming in that can pay for those costs and get married for profit. He says, what if instead we could have an open permissionless marketplace for RPL providers to loan out their RPL for staking on nodes, and node operators could freely choose from the available pools of RPL to stake on their nodes. A lot of fluid mini marriages could happen, and overall all parties would be better off. The centralization risk to Rocket Pool associated with protocol supported marriages could be mitigated by opening these features up to small scale operators. So what Ramana is saying here is, like, we have this idea that the team is going to get into institutional level marriages with like really big operators, and that kind of sets a the protocol in the way that, like, if you're a really big operator, you don't need RPL because the team will provide it, or the whales could provide it. However, if you're just like a normal person, a normal node operator, you're stuck. You need the RPL because it's really difficult for you to get into a marriage. Well, Ramana is arguing that this would do away with that, and it would kind of make ETH only validators accessible to everyone now instead of waiting for Saturn 1. So he says, how can this work? Well, you may be thinking a home staker can already go to Miso Finance or Aave to secure a loan of RPL if they don't want to expose themselves to an RPL position in order to reap the most rewards from their Rocket Pool validator. But no, in fact, many a home staker only has the minimum capital requirement for running an LEB8 at all without the RPL, and can't really afford to fork out additional capital to secure an RPL loan. And even if they could, this capital is just locked idle, is not efficient use of funds. This is what if instead they could restake their existing capital, the ETH they were going to use for mini pool anyway, to secure a loan of RPL. The UX would be free RPL from RPL holders who want to earn a bit of interest, which can ideally be covered by a portion of the node RPL rewards. There's no other option available with this quality of life for both node operators, especially small scale and RPL holders. Don't believe the FUD that NodeSet somehow enables this. It doesn't. Only related thing NodeSet does is service the RPL side. For RPL holders looking to get a yield based on staking, there's nothing equivalent for the small scale node operator who wants the effectively collateral free loan of RPL to stake with. So he says, you might be thinking, wow, this is great, but surely the idea of RPL as a ticket for mini pools, or you need RPL to run Rocket Pool validators, as an idea that is doomed and on the way out as soon as we finish those Saturn upgrades. You might be right that RPL requirements are going away, but it remains to see what design is finalized. But under no proposed rework are benefits to staking RPL going away. These are benefits often in the form of direct ETH denominated value capture to staked RPL, and are still going to be attractive to node operators who still don't want to take a long position on RPL itself. Perfect overlap between those who want to hold RPL and those who want to run nodes is a myth, enabling these parties in those different sets to join forces and create more rETH supply is a win-win-win for each party and Rocket Pool as a whole. He said, I hope you sold on these mini marriages enabled by collateral-free RPL lending is a great idea. So why they're not a reality? You might be thinking, wow, that's great. That's going to be hard to achieve, right? How is it even technically possible? Well, no, it is technically already implemented. The reason this feature is not already deployed is lack of community support, not money necessarily, but attention to push it over the line. So if you like, you can make it happen by stepping up. So what does Ramana need? Ramana needs people to help him like project manage the process, to get ideas on how it all works. And yeah, I think if you want to be involved with this, Ramana would be really appreciative of it. I think it's a really great idea, personally speaking, and I wish that I had the time to help Ramana with this. Sadly, I don't, but I really wish him the best of luck with this, because I think it could potentially be something really great for Rocket Pool, but we're going to have to wait and see how it works out. Okay, next we have a new update from Flat Money, and this time Flat Money is saying that here they're back with the Rocket Pool Education Series, and today they're actually going to be highlighting Flat Money itself and its place within the rETH ecosystem on Base. So let's talk about Flat Money and their product Unit. So it says the Flat Money protocol is a two-sided marketplace that supports Unit, the low volatility yield-bearing flat coin designed to outpace inflation. Unit grows in value over time as it earns trading, borrow rate, and liquidation fees from rETH, perpetual futures markets. This is traders with open leverage positions borrow rETH that backs Unit to go long ETH. This means Unit holders earn the trading plus borrow rate fees, which accrue to the rETH liquidity pool in the Flat Money protocol. It says over time these fees grow Unit's value in USD terms. So then they go on to explain that Flat Money is rETH perp futures markets trends towards delta neutral equilibrium as the borrow rate creates an incentive that balances the markets. Over time, the protocol adjusts incentives, so the skew tends to a 50-50 natural state. And then there's some diagrams. It says at the heart of Flat Money is Rocket Pool's rETH, the decentralized LST backing for Unit. People can mint Unit with rETH, but USDC and wrapped ETH can be used to mint Unit as well. In the background, any Unit or wrapped ETH is converted to rETH and then used to mint Unit. So this is really cool, like for Rocket Pool. And it says unit holders have averaged 8.4% APY over 30 days, but an uptick in demand for rETH has boosted the daily yield significantly. If this trend continues, yield will rise with a flat money market, and there will be even greater demand for rETH in the perps market. And then there's a chart here showing, I guess, demand going up quite a lot, which is pretty cool. And then they say demand for rETH within the flat money protocol has allowed the flat coin vault, the contract, to secure the #1 rETH holder spot on Basescan, which is really cool. And then they go on to say that we're working with the GMC, so the GMC has funded part of this. I should make clear that I have received no money compensation, anything like that, from Flat Money or anyone else in promoting these tweets. They're just a really cool way for rETH to be used on Base. Okay, talking about some staking news now. So here we have the Obol Collective saying that they have launched the Obol Collective. This is, in part with their software going live on mainnet, which is really cool. So they said the time to unite the staking community under a common mission, scaling the Ethereum network through strengthening the security, resilience, and decentralization of Ethereum consensus. So they're introducing the collective for this purpose. And they said the collective is comprised of 50 plus entities and thousands of individuals across the Ethereum staking ecosystem. So this includes staking protocols and products, DV client teams, DV tooling, validator operations, squad stakers, investors and advisors, educators and researchers, and more. And then they go on to explain what the Obol Collective will be and how it's going to work. So if you are interested in joining or taking part in the Obol Collective, definitely go and check it out. Yeah, that seems like they're doing some cool work. So good on them. Okay, going back to the Discord here, we had some news that are out, other news now, and one of the reasons why the price action for RPL and ETH and Bitcoin and everything else these last few days has been so horrendous is because of a few macro factors, well, a few crypto factors, and one of those is this Mt. Gox payments are now going out to beneficiaries of the people who had their Bitcoin on Mt. Gox when it was hacked. So this was 10 years ago, and Bitcoin of course has gone up by like 50 or 60x in that time. So these people had to force hold their crypto, and now they're receiving some of that crypto back from Mt. Gox, and it looks like they're people are scared that they're going to dump it. Then there's news of Germany dumping crypto and the US dumping crypto, and people are just kind of like shook, and the market is having a downtrend because of that. And if you're curious about this Mt. Gox news, you can see that people are starting to get their money now. So they're getting BTC, and they're also getting Bitcoin Cash because of the fork that happened in 2017. They're getting some money for that as well. So it looks like the payments are starting to go out. So if you are it looks here, so people are saying my account has been credited, and then we'll see how many of these people are actually going to dump, whether it's going to be all of them or a big fraction, or small fraction even. We'll find out, I guess. Okay, going back to the Discord, here there's a Rocket Pool tax thread, and in the tax thread we got this news of new IRS guidance on crypto wallets. So let's have a look at the guidance first, and then we'll come back and see what people in the Rocket Pool Discord say about it. So it said that the US Department of the Treasury and the IRS on Friday released final tax reporting rules for digital asset brokers. So they'll be doing mandatory yearly reporting, will phase in starting 2026, which will cover gross sales from 2025. However, investors need to assign basis or original purchase prices for each wallet before 2025, experts say. So what is one of the things that's happening here is your cost basis for your crypto will not be for all your portfolios at the same time. It will be for each wallet that you have will have its own cost basis. So here the ETH Meister says, so we have to substantiate cost basis for each wallet. Crypto brokers are required to issue new 1099s, additional reporting requirements, and this is going to be a headache to reconcile discrepancies in 1099s and on-chain transactions. Ludi says this is really bad. Cost basis can no longer be across multiple addresses wallets. Destroyer says this makes no sense, which I totally agree with. Ludi says it doesn't start until 2026, so next year don't be doing any complicated DeFi shit. In fact, just do nothing. And then Destroyer says crypto was a mistake. Should have just put everything into index funds, my retirement accounts. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. Actually, before I end the episode, I should tell you all that I said this on Wednesday's episode as well, is that I'm going to be traveling for the next 4 weeks, and episodes are going to be a little bit more sporadic. Normally over the course of 4 weeks, I would make 20 episodes. Over the coming 4 weeks, I'm aiming to make at least 12 episodes, and I hope that I can get that amount out for you all. That might be a little bit ambitious still. It might be that I could make more even. So we'll see how things go. But the internet might be a little bit spotty for the next 2 weeks. And the 2 weeks after that, it might be better. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more time to get episodes out. But otherwise, I'm going to try my best to get a good number of episodes out for you all. But just keep in mind that they might be a little bit delayed. But in the next episode, we're going to have the raffle for June. And hopefully that will be coming to you on Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely weekend ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye.